Hello, Lorcana and TCG enthusiasts, and welcome to our second video discussing each color from Ursula's return. Today we are doing Amethyst, but in some sad news, Disney has requested Pixelborn to come down. I believe it will be completely shut down, so no more Pixelborn or anything like that before the 16th. So this may be our last color discussion. In Pixelborn, we'll go back to discussing the other colors elsewhere. Of course, if we do have some more time to get through the other colors in Pixelborn, we will do that. And unfortunately, at the time of this recording, Friday will be the last deck and gameplay video using Pixelborn. So it is sad. I'm not sure if this video will be before my discussion video on the loss of Pixelborn or after my discussion video on loss of Pixelborn. So either way, you'll get my thoughts on how sad it is that we are losing Pixelborn. And I have been very much of a fan of this simulator. It's just been perfectly great to play on when it comes to Lorcana. So anyways, all the doom and gloom aside, let's start discussing the cards. Anyways, Amber gave us the first collection set of the Madrigal family, so Amethyst completes the other side of the Madrigal family. So honestly, you could do like a Madrigal tribal deck where you just basically use the entirety of the family and put a few of those really good cards into it. Sometimes we have Antonio Madrigal, just a vanilla. We have our new Belle. She can shift for 3 over any character named Belle. And then when you play this character, move up to 3 damage counter for chosen character, chosen opposing character. Again, we see Amethyst utilizing that ability to move around damage counters. We also have some use here with, of course, the Beast that can restand when he claims damage. You could put out this Belle, move damage over to the Beast so he can restand, because again, as long as he gets damaged, he can just restand. So that's very nice. Again, just some nice damage manipulation. We can move damage from our opponent's character onto our Beast character to restand him so he can quest again. So you could do that strategy as well. But still, neat that we're seeing like damage removal stuff. I think that's a really cool stuff I think we saw in the last set, Into the Inkland. So it's really cool we're seeing more cards that can like move damage around. And I think there are some strategies, as of course more sets get released, where this could really become like meta relevant. We got, of course, another Belle here. Here, I'll do it. When you play this character, move 1 damage from chosen character to opposing chosen character. Pretty much about what we've seen for just another way to move damage around. We got Bruno. When you play this character, if chosen character gains when this character is banished in a challenge, you may return this card to your hand. So, in essence, it's a cheaper costed Dr. Facilier shift from Chapter 1, that whenever a character was banished, you added it right back to your hand. He just gives that ability for 1 card that turn, where Dr. Facilier is always constantly on. And he's also just Mickey Mouse, the sorcerer, that could then give it for brooms as well. So, I think it's a really nice card. Again, for the Madrigal family, it'd be really neat, because what you can do is you can give it to the grandma, and then you can have the grandma swing into things, add her back to your hand, and then play her again, because then you can search your entirety of your deck for any Madrigal you want. So I could definitely see something like that. Again, just a very nice card. Then we have another Bruno. This one has Evasive, which is nice. And then you can tap it, name a card, and then reveal the top card of your deck. If it's the named card, put that card in your hand, gain 3 lore, otherwise put it on the top of your deck. So I'm not sure. I think we have any cards that can look at the top of your deck and see what it is. But if we start getting cards that can like look at the top card of your deck. Now we do have stuff like that. We do have like Sapphire cards. We do have some cards that can look at the top of the deck and then cycle them and put them on top or the bottom. If you do have cards or use those cards, this is really strong, because then you'll be able to name the card, put it into your hand, and then gain 3 lore. Of course, he does tap it, but again, we do have cards that can untap. They just can't quest. That's in the Ruby line. And I'm not sure if the Ruby line has any such ability where you can look at the top card of your deck, and then put them back on your deck. I believe Sapphire does. I can't remember if Amber, Amethyst, or Emerald Steel. I don't think any of the other colors really do. I think Sapphire is the only one. So what's really nice about this is if you can use those style cards, you can just gain a whole lot of lore off of a guy who has evasive that your opponent really can't deal with unless they're using evasive characters themselves, or the Steel engine, which has, of course, the ability to, like, just damage straight out, or if you're running the Emerald engine, I guess, if you wanted to use, like, Mother Knows Best to bounce something. But honestly, I mean, this is just very strong if, of course, like I said, we can see more and more cards that allow us to, like, scry the top of our deck, see what it is, put it on top, and then we use him to go, I'm going to reveal this card, I know what it is, name it, and then do it. It's basically just Spiral. This is just a Spiral card for Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is pretty nice. Now, again, the funny part is that if you have multiple of these characters out, you can actually just go one to see what the top card of your deck is. Okay, well, that's what it is. Put it on the top, and then use a second one to then name it, gain that 3 lore, and put it into your hand. So you could do that, like stacking up on multiple of the Brunos so that you can constantly always kind of just see what the top card is and then using them to, like, get the card back. So I could definitely see some interesting ways to, like, utilize this card altogether. Again, I think Sapphire has the ability to scry and look at the top card of your deck. I know there's cards that do it, I just can't remember what it is. I guess you can put down in the comments what cards really do work with him, but honestly, if we see more and more cards that can allow us to just kind of, like, manipulate the top of our deck to what we want it to be, we could actually see this guy become very, very meta relevant. So keep that in mind. We got Cameleo, Matarel. At the start of your turn, you choose one. He either gains 1 lore or he gains Challenger. Pretty nice. If you need the lore to win the game, or if you need a Challenger to start punching things, that's really nice. And then you can combo with this Bruno to make it come back to your hand. It's pretty nice overall. We got Dolores. When you play this character, if your opponent has an exerted character in play, you may draw a card. About as pretty nice. I mean, it literally does allow you to play draw a card if your opponent has an exerted character, which most of the time your opponent will have an exerted character, so it's really nice. You could just play or draw a card, see what you get. So either way, it's an okay card. Another Elsa. You could tap it, chosen character gets Challenger 2 and rush this turn. It's pretty neat. Also, if you don't realize, a lot of the card text right now is kind of showing them battling out Ursula. We'll talk about it because apparently there's now two Ursulas in the multiverse of Lorcana now. I don't know the full story of where Lorcana is. I definitely should probably spend some time actually getting to know the lore of Lorcana, because most card games have lore, and it feels like each set is building up on each other, because now we have Ursula and Ursula from Multiverse Ursula. Huh, we're getting the multiverse in Lorcana. Anyways, neat effect. There are cards that can buff up rushers as well, like Peter Pan's Shadow is really nice because it gives his stuff evasive. So, I mean, overall, it's not bad. We got a couple more Flotsam Jetsam. No, I think we got a Flotsam and then we got a Flotsam Jetsam. So, anyways, Flotsam. When you play when this character is banished in a challenge, return this card to your hand. That's really nice, just a way, because it's just a beat stick of 4/2. Now, again, that's banished in a challenge, not just straight up banished. But really nice. It just gets banished in a challenge. Because it is a 4/2, you can bring it in, smack stuff in the face. And then when this character named Jetsam, your character's named Jetsam, when this character's banished challenge, return the card. So basically, we just return both, which is pretty nice. Oh, there is a Jetsam. Now we have a very interesting one. We have Jetsam, Flotsam, and Jetsam. So this is the first time we are seeing a dual named card. Basically, 2 names on a singular card. Anyways, he can shift over any Flotsam or Jetsam, by the way. He doesn't have to just go over one or the other by discarding 2 cards. So again, we are seeing more of those different ways to shift characters, which I do appreciate the fact that Rasburger is making different ways to shift characters and really trying to push you into the shift cost items here. So anyways, this is also really nice. This character counts as being both Flotsam and Jetsam. So we have a bunch of Flotsams and Jetsams in Emerald and in Amethyst. So being that he is both, he gets all of those Flotsam Jetsams effects, which is really cool. I won't lie. I think there could be a Flotsam Jetsam tribal deck that could come up. We got Isabella Matarel. She has evasive. Really nice there. During your turn, if you have another character's quested this turn, she gets +3. So basically, what also then comes into the problem is whenever this character quests, your other characters can't quest for the turn. So that is the thing you have to be cautious of. Yes, she does go up to 4 lore, every time she quests, as long as she's the only character that quests, which clearly you want to do the 4 lore. But the aspect is that none of your other characters can quest. Now, why that does seem horrible, that's not bad, because all we can do here is then we can just go, you quest, get me that 4 lore, and then I'm going to have everyone else go into beating face. Just get everyone else, you're just going to beat face and knock out the opponent's board state, so I can keep his board fresh and clean, while I'm clearly went on board advantage and lore advantage. So I think there are good builds. I could definitely see this like in a Ruby build, where Ruby is wanting more be like aggressive, like she's the only quester of the build, and then you use like Shere Khan, Queen of Hearts, those characters that can gain you lore for bashing down your opponent's characters and banishing them. I think that is a really good idea. I think you could use her just to quest, and then everyone else bashes. Like, for instance, Shere Khan already gives you a lore every time you attack one of your opponent's characters. Queen of Hearts draws you a card. There's ones if you banish a character, you can gain a lore. So, I mean, overall, I think you could do it. You could even do it her in Emerald, especially if you use, oh my gosh, what's his name? Rourke. If you use Rourke from Into the Inklands, where you can gain lore after you banish a character. So, in essence, I can see her being built in a deck that just uses her to quest. So you quest a little bit here and there, and then use her to just exclusively start questing because she has the evasive key trait. So she can't be, the only way your opponent could remove it is with another evasive character, or if they're running some kind of deck that could knock her out. So that's really nice, because then you could just have her quest, gain that 4 lore, and then just have everyone else beat face with like Shere Khan gaining you lore. Maybe you can use Little John. I think it's a Little John. The John character from Pinocchio that gains your lore every time you play a Floodborn character. Your opponent loses a lore, so you could play that. Again, I think you could play around just more or less using her to quest, and then using the Ruby character to just smash in face. And then just getting lore and cards that way. We got a Jetsam. He's got a Challenger 2, and your character's named Flotsam gain Challenger 2. So this is really nice. I mean, look at this. Your Flotsams get to come back to your hand, which, by the way, when a shift in Flotsam Jetsam is over, say Flotsam or Jetsam, and he dies, and then in a banish, and then you have, say, this Flotsam up, this character and the character under it do come both back to your hand. So just be a member of that both come back to your hand. They're treated as one card when you're shifting over something. So pretty nice. But anyways, giving that Challenger, meaning that this gets a Challenger. So this already goes up to like a 7 when it swings in, which is really nice. Again, when you combine with the other Flotsam Jetsams from Chapter 1 and the other Flotsam Jetsams throughout, like the other Amethyst Flotsam Jetsam and the Emerald Flotsam Jetsam, you can make some very interesting deck strategies running around like Flotsam Jetsam. Like I said, I think there's a very good tribal deck. I would say like maybe like roguish at best. But you could definitely have a very interesting deck strategy. Especially, I think, if you combine Ursula with them so that they could do some stuff. Anyways, we got Lucia. She just has Rush. Really nice. Again, that just you could challenge the turn they come in. So just another way to like be able to run like a control style deck, especially with Ruby. I really think there is a deck strategy now using Shere Khan and other Ruby characters that can get you stuff whenever you're challenging your opponent's characters. Folks, did you want more magic brooms? Did you want more of them? Of course you did. I know you did. You all like the magic broom. So anyways, we got a couple more magic brooms. They are in steel and in amethyst. And we got Yitzid as well, the sorcerer that, of course, is teaching Mickey Mouse. We got magic broom. Whenever you play another character, you may banish this character to draw a card. Just really nice. Just a really good thing. So what you want to do here is, and of course I have already done a magic broom deck profile and gameplay video, so you can check it out. What you do is you play out this magic broom, then you'll quest with him next turn, so you can get quest here so that you can get that lore, and then you'll play something else and you'll nuke him off and then draw a card. So just very nice. We got just magic brooms, just a 2/4 magic brooms, vanilla. We got the magical maid. Just a 2 that is 2/2, but quest for 2. So is it power creep? I really don't think so. I think now we have so many characters at this level of like low level that quest for 2 now. It's not really power creep anymore. Maybe like when we had like moves from Chapter 1 to Rise of the Floodborn, yeah, that sure was power creep, but I honestly think we've kind of been sitting around this now that I can't say this is power creep anymore. It's just adding on to already what we have. So, I mean, it's not a very strong character, I'll say that. It's a 2/2. But again, another character you could put in like the Stitch Rockstar, or another character you could put into just quest only. That's Ember Amethyst, which the whole identity is you just quest. You don't care about challenge. You don't care about the board state. You don't care about anything. You just want to quest until the end of days. We got Marshmallow. He gets a +1 for each card in your hand. He's a 1 reduced. I think Jafar from Chapter 1 does the exact same thing, and I'm pretty sure that Jafar is I think he's a 2/4. I forget what his defense is. His will is 5. So he does have 5 will. He's 1 more, and he does quest for 1 more than Snowball, than Marshmallow. So that's kind of the trade-off. Jafar is 1 more expensive. Jafar can also get inked, and he's at 2 more will, but he does the exact same thing. He just gains the power for each card in your hand. So personally for me, I'd rather play Jafar just because he does have the ability to quest for 2. He can be inkable, and he has 5 will. But I mean, if you wanted to come out a little quicker, I don't think Marshmallow's that bad. I just think wait 1 more turn, and then you at least if your bricks start breaking up, at least you could send the Jafar into your inkwell to at least have ink for the turn. To at least, ink something so you constantly keep your inkwell full. So you're not missing drops and then pushing yourself even further back off your opponent. But you choose whatever one you want. I personally think Jafar is just a little bit better just because he's at 2 will higher. 1 cost. Yeah, he has 1 cost, but he's also at 2 lore, and he's inkable. We got Mrs. Potts. When you play this character, if you have a character named Lumiere or Cogsworth in play, you may draw a card. Again, the idea of running kind of like all the beasts, like characters together so that you can draw a card. Again, F4, 3/4, that quest for 2 is not bad. Not mentioning you get a draw if you're running someone with Lumiere or Cogsworth, especially if you run the Sapphire Cogsworth that gives everything resist 1. Not bad. And then we have Pepa Metagrel. When you play this character, you may exert chosen opposing character. That character can't ready to start your next turn unless they're at a location. So it's really nice. This does push your opponent to have to spend ink to get a character into a location. Now, of course, we would want to target a character that's off a location because they won't exert the start of their turn. But if our opponent wanted to ensure that they constantly come exerted, they would have to move stuff to locations so they could spend that ink on trying to get characters to move locations and stuff like that. But overall, not the greatest of the characters. But, I mean, maybe a couple, because we have seen there are plenty of Amethyst cards that can freeze a lot of your opposing characters. So Amethyst being a stall strategy here with freezing stuff isn't bad, especially with using the Madam Mim bound stuff and the Merlin bound stuff to kind of just accumulate more lore, accumulate the board presence away, just get stuff away, and then kind of just pausing your stuff on your opponent is not half bad either. Not the best, but, not bad. So we've got Peter Pan, he's got Rush, Evasive, and your other characters with Evasive gain Rush. So that's really nice. So you could throw him into a Evasive strategy, mainly probably your Ruby or Emerald Evasive strategy, and just give all your characters Rush so they can all come out and punch face for days, which I think is not bad, especially if, I believe, then you can also run like Peter Pan's Shadow in this color, also states that all characters that have Rush, yeah, here it is. Peter Pan's Shadow, all other characters with Rush gain Evasive. So you can build a deck around like Rush Evasive, because then you can use Peter Pan's Shadow to give all your Rushers Evasive so that you can protect them, and then you can use Peter Pan in correlation to give all your natural evasive characters Rush. So it's really, really neat. You can just basically make this evasive Rush board state that you can just go ham into, which honestly is not bad. Just a vanilla here with Pico. We got TikTok. Thought his full name was TikTok Croc. Interesting. But anyway, he has evasive. Again, just a very nice keyword. Especially if you combine it with the fact that he can get Rush, which is pretty nice as well. Anyways, here we go for the multiversal Ursulas. We got Ursula here. And then, of course, we'll have this Ursula. So, I mean, we're going to have 2 Ursula. Like I said, I don't know why we're going into the multiverse. of Lorcana, but apparently Lorcana's gone into the multiverse now. Multiple Ursulas. I don't know. Maybe that's not the case. She just has Challenger. About as standard. Here we have the new shift Ursula for shift of 5. It is our other Ursula. But anyways, what this is really good is when this character quests, you may exert chosen character. Again, really nice, especially because if you can put it in with that rusher evasive, like rush style deck, I think you can just have her quest for her 3, rest something down, and then basically from there have someone swing in and knock stuff out, which is pretty nice, especially if you utilize like the Flotsam Jetsam stuff with it. And then also, other characters can't exert the sing song. Well, that is interesting to me, the fact that the secondary ability, because I like the first ability. The secondary ability would really only come up if song control became more prevalent in a meta. If song control definitely became more prevalent, I think this card would see way more play. Honestly, it does see a lot of play because a lot of decks do have a lot of good songs they can sing. While this is definitely against song control, the Amber Steel, I honestly don't know if this effect is really good. I like it because it does mean that my opponent can't just sing songs for free. Because again, while Song Control is definitely the better deck for songs, Emerald Steel Control uses good songs. So I mean, having to force your opponent have to just pay straight up ink for their songs is really hard, especially against 2 decks. Will this deck basically knock those 2 decks out of contention? I really don't think so. There are ways to get around this, but still. Overall, not really bad. 𝐒𝐍𝐶, of course, this is the new character right here that basically makes your Magic Broom deck even more powerful. When you play this character, if you have a character named Magic Broom in play, you may draw a card. One thing you could do is that you can go the Magic Broom for 1, the one that nukes itself off, and then you go 𝐒𝐍𝐶 turn 2, and what you can do is you have 𝐒𝐍𝐶 Chainlink 2, Chainlink 1, the other Magic Broom. So Chainlink 2, you draw a card, and then Chainlink 1, you'll nuke off the Magic Broom that nukes itself, and then draw a card from there. So you can get 2 draws. Be very mindful that you should use this effect first, and then the nuke effect second. But anyways, while you control 2 or more Broom characters in play, this gains +2 lore. So basically, a couple of 𝐒𝐍𝐶s out and a lot of Magic Brooms out, you can just basically get these guys to like high lore count. Not mentioning that the Magic Broom location, where all Magic Brooms can go to for free, just basically can buff up their lore by 1 more, so you can make a pretty powerful Magic Broom strategy. And then, of course, now we're going into our actions and our songs and our locations and our items as well. So, Poor Unfortunate Souls. Any character with 2 or more can sing this song for free. Chosen character, item, or location will cost 2 less to play in their return. Chosen character, item, or location would cost 2 or less to the player's hand. Not bad, not great. I think if you're going to deal with items, I'm glad that Amethyst has some way to deal with items. I personally think the Steel Engine is just a better method to deal with items. Second star to the right, again, another sing together song. I like that we're getting some different ways to sing songs. Again, a number of your teammates' characters with it cost 10 or more may sing this song for free. Chosen player just draw 5. A draw 5 for a singer 10 is not for sing together 10. I think is pretty fine because there's nothing saying like, oh, now you got to you can only draw up to 5 cards, or your hand can only be 5 cards. I just like it being a draw 5. It's just very nice. It's good hand advantage on your opponent. Again, I don't know if these singers are just great right now. I think in a deck like Go Ham Crazy Lore Quest might not be the best way to play it, but honestly, I think maybe in the future we could see more stuff really utilize this. Because again, since singers like the new Ariel and Cinderella off of Amber do allow you to count them as like a singer 7 and singer 6, you would only need like a character that could sing like 4 or a character that's 5 or more to sing. If that's how, Ravsburger's going to rule it that way, that a singer can tap itself to sing on its singer cost. So, like the new Ariel can tap herself to sing on a cost of 6, and then I sing, say, a character that could sing on a cost of 4, does that officially count towards the fact that I can then, say, sing together? So I would say so, but again, check with your local judges. and all of that. But nonetheless, a draw 5 is still very, very good. Again, hand advantage in this game is super good, and Amethyst is probably the best color for getting a hand advantage in any way. A swing into action, character gains rush, and then you could use like I said, you gain rush, then you could use the other Peter Pan shadow, where if you have a character named Rush, you could just get invasive, which is not bad. Ursula's plan. So here we go, Ursula's. We got Ursula number 1, we got Ursula number 2. The multiverse is coming true. The multiverse. So here's my thing. If we're getting into the multiverse of characters, does that mean we're going to have multiple characters making other versions of their character? You would think in the multiverse that there could be a chance that Ursula, that evil Ursula, can meet a nice Ursula. Let's be honest, the multiverse is expansive. But if that's the case, does that mean then we could get, like, this could chain reaction into getting us into Pixar, chain reaction to Star Wars and Marvel? Could this chain reaction get us into other universes? I could honestly see, like, universes where, like, Milo is evil, Mickey Mouse is evil. I could definitely see, like, us doing and saying, here's this multiversal ideology. Now we're going to bring in characters that you wouldn't think are evil, and now we're going to say they're evil. So, it's neat. It's a neat concept. Again, I'm not sure 100% what all the lore background of each set is, but maybe it's time to, like, sit down and really start, doing some research into it. Anyways, each party chooses and exerts one of their characters. The character can't ready at the start of the next turn. It's okay, let's just say that. Again, exerting and freezing a character is not horrible for Amethyst. I think it could be useful, but I just think that that's just a little too slow to where certain deck strategies are right now in the meta. I mean, if we find ourselves getting into this slower game stated, I think an Amethyst freeze-style deck is very much open to being a very strong contender. But if the meta continues to stay in a fast-moving pace, then these type of freeze decks are going to be a little slow to pick up to where they need to be to start dealing enough freezing. Again, I may be completely wrong with that. Maybe they do 100% come into being a good deck strategy. But as of right now, I feel like the meta is a little too fast from what I've seen to where freezing cards is not going to be quick enough for you to deal with the board state. Or at least survive until your opponent actually outlaws you. Anyways, Magical Rose. Banished item, chosen character named Beast gets +2 lore for this turn. That is actually very nice. What you can do is you could give this to the Emerald Beast so that you can get him up to 4 lore, because he's naturally 2 lore. You can give him up to 4 lore, and then figure out ways again with, I believe Amethyst does have some ways to deal with itself some damage. And then basically just, again, manipulate damage. If you have a character named Bell in play, move 3 damage counters from chosen character to opposing chosen character. Again, you can have your beast be damaged, banish this. If you have Bell, you can move 3 damage counters over somewhere else, restand that beast, and congratulations. Now he's questing for 4 a turn. Really nice. I think the Emerald Beast that can restand is definitely got some good power with the Amethyst cards. Well, last time we saw him with steel stuff using Sheriff Nottingham and Bayou, I think you could honestly put him into an Amethyst engine using Bell, Magical Rose, and a lot of the other Amethyst cards that can manipulate damage so he can constantly restand. And then we have Mystical Petals. You can tap it, pay 2, move 1 damage card for chosen character to chosen opposing character. Again, that is considered damaging. As far as I'm aware, that might be considered damaging, so it will restand the beast, especially if the character doesn't have a damage counter on it or has damage counters on it. So, again, I think this stuff right here with the Emerald Beast is very, very strong, especially with the bell from the set, the Shift 5 bell. Anyways, we have Triton's Trident. Banish this item. Chosen character gets +1 for the turn for each card in your hand. Not bad. Again, it's just making one of your characters bigger. That's about it. For our last 2 locations, we have Casa Metagrail. At the start of your turn, if you have a character here, gain 1 lore. So, it looks like this is not... So this is a really nice one because it's a 1 cost. This doesn't gain you naturally lore, but you would think if you could read it, that you would gain lore for every character you have there. No, it's when at least if you have a character here, you just gain a lore. Now, of course, there are a lot of characters that like to be on locations, that need to be on locations, that want to be on locations. If you do have those characters that want to be at locations, this is not half bad. Otherwise, it's kind of meh. And then Ursula's Lair, whenever a character is banished in a challenge while here, just add them back to your hand. Again, really nice. I do really like the fact that we are seeing Amethyst be able to just cycle all our characters back to our hand, so we can constantly just keep spamming them back out of the board. Again, I think this can go into that rush evasive strategy where all your evasive characters gain rush, and you can just tie them back to this location, and then just go swing ham and face over all your opponent's stuff. And then basically just swing ham and face. I would definitely say probably put it into the Ruby engine so that you can use like 𝐿𝐴 to gain all that lore for going ham and face. And then because if they don't die, and especially if they don't die, you can easily just have them, especially being evasive, you can have them literally sit there and your opponent can't do anything with them unless they have unless they're using one of the two colors, a color, steel, maybe emerald, but definitely steel to deal with the board presence. I guess if they're playing evasive strategy, I guess they could deal with the board presence. Or they come in and deal with the location as well. And your Ursula, your characters with Ursula get a +1 more here. So, not bad. I do like that for like a 𝐿𝐴 strategy. So overall, it's not a bad set. We got a couple more magic brooms for a magic broom strategy. It's very strong. We got, of course, the multiversal aerials or Ursulas here, so that's pretty nice. I mean, this Ursula is actually pretty good. I think it does harm two strategies, the Emerald Steel control and Song control. I think we have a new way to play Emerald Beast. We have a really good just sing together song. Second star on the right, just because that just gives you just a draw 5. We have a couple more cards that deal with like freezing our opponent's stuff that's really nice. I think the Marigold stuff is actually pretty fun. I think there are some very strong, neat strategies with like a Ruby Amethyst just smash face style deck using 𝐿𝐴 to gain lore. I think this Bruto has a lot of application for future sets, especially if we can see a lot of stuff that could just manipulate the top of our deck. We could just run this to just gain a whole bunch of lore by just tapping him, and he's naturally got evasive, so unless you're playing against a deck strategy that basically can deal with him, you could just gain a lot of lore off this guy, and it's pretty nice. And then, of course, we got like more Flotsam Jetsam, and we got probably the start of the idea of putting characters together, which I think would be really nice. Like a Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse could go together, which would be pretty nice. Heck, even a Musketeers character that's like all three Musketeers, Mickey, Goofy, and Donald together. I think could actually be like another character we could have like all three characters together that acts as the name of Mickey, Goofy, and Donald. I think that would be pretty cool. Maybe like a character like is Elsa Anna together. I don't know. Like I said, I think this is a good start. Again, seeing more of the shift. That's different ways to shift, discarding cards. And for Amethyst, discarding 2 cards is not bad. Especially with the fact that I believe we could get closer and closer to manipulating graveyard abilities or banish zone abilities where we can get stuff coming out of the banish zone and all of that. So I think we are getting closer and closer to seeing them slowly evolve the game into being more complex, more deck strategy intensive, and stuff like that. But overall, I do like the color. I think it has a lot of potential for future metas and current metas, and gave us a couple of probably like roguelike, just fun tribal decks to try out. And of course, giving just another strategy for the Emerald Beast to play with. And again, I think the damage manipulation is, I think, a little still undercooked right now, but I think if we can get more and more sets where we could see more and more things with damage manipulation, I honestly think we could do a damage manipulation control style deck coming up in the future. So, overall, it's a very good color. But I want you to let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. What Amethyst cards do you think are the best? What Amethyst strategies have you come up with? What Amethyst strategies are you coming up with, and what other colors are you using with those Amethyst strategies? What do you think of the strategies that I came up with, and all of that? And while you're commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you can notify my videos go live for you. And we'll see you here next time on Mama Dragon's TCG.